Hello everyone, today I'm going to be talking about the Tennessee Titans. This is my first video like this, so I would appreciate if you liked the video and showed support in it. I'm gonna try to get 2 of these done per week, but yeah. So as of right now, the Titans are coming off their second straight 24-17 loss. First one coming week 1 versus Chicago, and their second one coming just a couple days ago against the New York Jets in Nashville in their home opener. 2 games which they could have won both of them. In Chicago they were up 17-3, and then this last week they were up 10-3 at the half, but they were in that game the whole time. There was never really a point where it felt like they were out of it. However, they still did lose, and the biggest question mark that has come out of this is Will Levis, if he is capable of being that guy. Through his first 2 games, 2 touchdowns, 5 total turnovers, 2 of them being fumbles and 3 of them being interceptions, including a pick 6. And there has been a lot of outrage and uproar. I've seen even a lot of Titans fans saying that this guy's a bust and that we need to start Mason Rudolph. And it's like people forget that he's practically a rookie. He hasn't even started an entire full slate of games yet. He's only started about 10 to 12 games, somewhere in there so far, so he hasn't really fully developed yet into what he could be, which people are just completely ignoring right now. But honestly, looking at most of his turnovers so far, half of them haven't even really been that bad. Like his interception this past week versus the Jets, where the defender just made a great play on the football, just getting it out of Burks' hand. That was honestly a pretty good throw by Will Levis, but just a better play by Brandon Echols for the interception. Another example of that is the second interception that he threw versus the Bears towards the end of the game, where he just threw the ball up to Tyler Boyd, I think it was, and it ended up getting intercepted by Jalen Johnson. But I understand what he was doing. He was 4th down, he was being rushed, and nobody's really open. He didn't really have many other options, so he just threw it up to his tallest receiver, hoping that he could come down with a catch, which he couldn't. However, for that pick 6 versus the Bears and that fumble versus the Jets, there is really no excuse for that. He should not be throwing that. Just bad decision making on his part. However, I do think he'll be fine. I think he'll be solid the rest of the year. I think it's just some inexperience leading him to make those bad decisions. I will also add on to that by saying that the Bears and the Jets have 2 really good defenses. I personally think they're both top 10 defenses, so that obviously didn't help Levis at all. But onto the O-line, it has been horrible this so far. I think they will end up turning it around later in the year. I don't think they're a great unit, but I think they will do better than this, because this unit has some studs on it. Peter Skoronski, he was a first-round pick a couple years ago. He showed flashes last year. Lloyd Cushenberry, we know that he's a great player. I also have a lot of hope for J.C. Latham. I think that he will be really good. He showed a great work ethic throughout training camp, and he seems like he's very motivated to do well here. However, I'm very concerned with the right side of the O-line with Nicholas Petit-Frere and Dylan Raduns. They haven't been good. They've been pretty bad, especially when Raduns got hurt and Rupsich came in versus the Bears. He got just destroyed that whole game. I can't find what their pass rate has been, but I think last week, it was somewhere up near 60%, which is horrid. That is undescribably bad, but I don't know. It could be less. It could just be exaggerating it, but nonetheless, it has been horrible. Levis has been under pressure probably about half the snaps he's taken, which is not ideal in the slightest. They have been better in the run game, with Pollard having a great week 1, kind of slowed down in week 2. I have been kind of disappointed what I've seen from Tyjae Spears. He hasn't looked as explosive as he did last year, but it's only week 2. He could just be shaking the rust off. He could be back to normal within next week, a couple weeks down the line. Switching it over to the receiving side, it is clear DeAndre Hopkins is not healthy. He is barely playing, and when he does, he just does not look good. He's clearly not healthy, and he should probably sit a couple games and let his MCL fully heal before he gets back to action. For the tight ends, Chig Okonkwo's been doing the same stuff he's done throughout his career. Doesn't get many looks, but he does well when he gets those looks. Efficient. He caught a good touchdown pass from Will Levis last week versus the Bears. Great grab. Wiley's also been solid. He hasn't been outstanding, but he's the tight end too. You don't really expect him to do much. Boyd's done pretty much what a lot of people expected him to do. He'll come in, he'll make those good third down grabs, he'll move the chains. Typical wide receiver 3 stuff. Ridley's had a great connection with Will Levis. He's been the leading receiver both weeks, including an incredible touchdown grab this past week versus the Jet defense where Levis threw a perfectly placed ball. He also had a rushing touchdown that game. So far, Ridley's come as advertised, if not better. Right now, he's looking like a good deal that we got him for, considering the wide receiver market and what would happen to it just a couple of months later. But that's enough about the offense. Let's get to the defense, which has been the real star of the show for Tennessee so far. Their defense has looked outstanding. The pass rush has looked really good. They've gotten 2 sacks each week. Landry has 3 on the year, and Sebastian Joseph Day has 1. Harold Landry is tied for 3rd in the league for sacks with 3 of them. And he's looked really good all year. He's looked like a monster. He looked like he's going to be a massive problem for quarterbacks to deal with down the line. Sebastian Joseph Day has also been pretty disruptive, and especially Jeffrey Simmons has been incredibly disruptive. I've heard his name a lot in these past 2 games. He's looked really good. Devondre Sweat I haven't really heard his name a lot, but I think that's probably just because he's a rookie. He's still trying to learn everything. I don't think it's a sign of things to come for him necessarily. They've been pretty solid in the run game. They were really good in week 1 when they held DeAndre Swift to only 3 yards a carry the whole game. He just could not get anything going. For the Jets game, however, they did falter a bit more, allowing 4.5 yards a carry to Breece Hall and Braylon Allen, but still not really that bad. The secondary and the pass defense have also been really, really good so far this year, holding Aaron Rodgers to a 60% completion percentage, 176 yards and 2 touchdowns. One of those touchdowns came off a check down where he threw it like 3 feet in front of him. The other touchdown was a great pass from Rodgers. Great play by Breece Hall to get over Kenneth Murray to make the catch. L'Jarius Sneed also did a great job in locking up Garrett Wilson, only having 4 catches for 57 yards on the day. And really, aside from Breece Hall getting 7 checkdowns for 52 yards and a touchdown, Braylon Allen's receiving touchdown, and Garrett Wilson having 4 catches, the Jets did nothing in the passing game. They were even better the week before, holding Caleb Williams to a 48% completion percentage and only 93 yards. L'Jarius Sneed also claimed another victim that week in DJ Moore, who was held for 5 receptions for only 36 yards. Keenan Allen also didn't do anything, only 4 catches for 29 yards, and Odunze only had 11-yard reception. That was pretty much it for Chicago. That was all their offense generated in the passing game. The linebackers have also been solid. Kenneth Murray has made a couple of pretty big plays for Tennessee. However, he has struggled mightily in the passing game. He allowed about 70 yards in the passing game to Aaron Rodgers and the Jets last week, and it's just overall been horrible in coverage. However, in the run game, he's been really solid. Ernest Jones has also been a good pickup. He's led the team in tackles both weeks with about 6 or 7 per week, and he's been solid in the passing game. Overall, I believe the Titans' defense has been ranked number 1 through the first 2 weeks. I believe. I may be wrong in that. Feel free to correct me if I am wrong. Moving to special teams, Nick Folk has been automatic. He's made both of his field goal attempts. He's made all 4 of his extra point attempts. He's been good like he was last year. Punt returning, Jaquan Jackson has looked really good, and I think that he could end up being a cornerstone on special teams and could really make a name for himself as one of the next great punt and kick returners. However, with punting, there is some issues. There's also a lot of upside. Ryan Stonehouse, I believe, is a top 5 punter in this league. He's averaging about 54 yards a punt on his 8 punts of 2024 so far. However, there is a massive problem, and that being the punt blocking. They have been awful. They've allowed 2 blocked punts so far this year, 1 going for a touchdown. Ryan Stonehouse's last 3 games, he's had 4 punts blocked, 3 of them going back for touchdowns, which is just completely unacceptable. Versus the Jets, that blocked punt, there was 5 Jets rushers and 8 blockers, and they could not stop them from getting through the line and getting to Stonehouse, which that is going to need to change. But this team reminds me of the Los Angeles Rams from last year. A young team, not a lot of people thought was going to do all that, ended up shocking a lot of people and actually making the playoffs, which I do think this Titans team can do. But if this defense can continue to do what they're doing and the offense can pick up some slack, this team could be scary. This could be a team nobody will want to face come October, November, December, and a team that I believe could possibly make the playoffs as a wild card team.